జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి.
జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి.
జై శ్రీరామ్ జిగేష్ గారు. అది మీరా, షిరీన్ గారా అన్నది నాకు డౌట్ ఉండేను. అందుకు పేరు అనకుండా జై శ్రీరామ్ అన్నాను.
అదే లేదండి, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఇస్ గుడ్. యాక్చువల్లీ షిరీన్ గారు ఇస్ పోస్టింగ్ ద మెసేజెస్.
ఓకే.
నేను
యు ఆర్ టేకింగ్ కేర్ ఆఫ్ ద కాల్. యా, ఓకే. నేను ఒక్క రిక్వెస్ట్ చేయొచ్చా అండి షిరీన్ గారికి? డైరెక్ట్ గా మెసేజ్ పెట్టినా ఇది అతిథి దాన్ని ఒక్కసారి రిమైండర్ మన రామాయణం స్టడీలో కూడా పెడితే మంచిదేమో అనిపించింది. ఎందుకంటే పిల్లల కోసం కదా అది అని.
యా ఎస్ అండి.
ఓకే, నేనైతే డైరెక్ట్ గా షిరీన్ గారికి పెట్టినా.
యా షూర్.
జిగేష్ గారు, నేను వీడియో ఆఫ్ లో ఉంటాను. మళ్ళా నాకు రామాయణం స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది కదా, సో మధ్యలో లీవ్ చేయడానికి ఉంటుంది. అందుకు ఓకేనండి.
తప్పకుండా అండి.
జై శ్రీరామ్.
జై శ్రీరామ
జై శ్రీరామ్ గురువు గారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్ ఆంటీ.
జై శ్రీరామ్ నాన్న ఐశ్వర్య. జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి అందరికీ.
నమస్తే.
ఒక్క నిమిషం గురువు గారు, శిరీన్ గారు కాల్ చేస్తారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్ గురువు గారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్. జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి. కృష్ణమ్మ అండ్ భాగ్యలక్ష్మమ్మ.
జై శ్రీరామ్ గురువు గారు.
దాసోహమ్మ. జై శ్రీరామ్.
జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి అందరికీ. జై శ్రీరామ్ రావు గారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి. జై శ్రీరామ్ గురువు గారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి.
జై శ్రీరామ్ గురుగారు. జై
శ్రీరామ్ అండి. జాయిన్ అయి తాగుతున్నారు.
అవునండి.
జై శ్రీరామ్ గురుగారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్ అన్న పృథ్వీ. జై శ్రీరామ్.
జై శ్రీరామ్ గురుగారు. జై శ్రీరామ్.
జై శ్రీరామ్ గురుగారు.
పాద పద్మాలకి నమస్కారాలు గురుగారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్ గురుగారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్ జిగీష గారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి అందరికీ. జై శ్రీరామ్ పావని గారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి. ఆఫ్టర్ సో మెనీ డేస్ మిమ్మల్ని చూస్తున్నాను. జై శ్రీరామ్ గురువు గారు. జై శ్రీరామ్ రావు గారు.
నా మాట వినిపిస్తుందండి?
వినిపిస్తుందండి. there is a lag, Rav garu.
Yeah, can you please confirm Monday now? ఇప్పుడు క్లియర్ గా ఉందండి.
ఇప్పుడు క్లియర్ గా ఉంది రావు గారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్.
జై శ్రీరామ్.
ఒక ఫ్యూ మినిట్స్ టైం ఇద్దామండి, ఇంకా కొంతమంది స్టూడెంట్స్ జాయిన్ అవ్వాలేమో కదా.
Karan. Mm. Anand, have made you the co-host, so you can share your screen.
Thanks, Sandy. Screen share వచ్చిందా అండి?
వచ్చిందండి. Yeah. I think we can stop sharing for now. Opening prayers ayaka, we will start sharing.
Did it stop?
I mean, I can see a screen, Nana, but we want to stop screen sharing now. The opening prayers are done. Yeah, this is good. Raghav, we can start ఏమో కదండి.
మనం స్టార్ట్ చేసే లోపల ఇంకా కొంతమంది జాయిన్ అవ్వచ్చామనండి. సో ఒకసారి మీరు ఏం చేస్తారంటే, ఓకే మన అన్ని గ్రూప్ లో మెసేజ్ పోస్ట్ చేసాం కాబట్టి ఐ థింక్ దే షుడ్ బి జాయినింగ్ సూన్. ఓకే, వీ కెన్ గో హెడ్ అండ్ గెట్ స్టార్ట్. గురువు గారు, వీ కెన్ స్టార్ట్.
Sure. Om Apadaapahataram Dataram Tarpatam Padam Lokaviramam Sriramam Bhujo Namanyaham Manojapam Ardatulyamegam Jitendagam Buddhimatam Padistam Bhatatpajam Manadayudamakyam Sridamadutam Shirasan Namami Bhadrachara Sitita Lakshmana Hanuma Garudatameta Sriramanaayana Swaminah Parthanam Samarpayami. Jai Shri Ram, Raghav, please go ahead.
Jai Shri Ram, Guru Garu. Jai Shri Ram to everyone. Hearty welcome to each and everyone on this call joining from all over the world. This event is being recorded for the benefit of storing this event in the website www.jaishriram.org. For those who are joining this call for the first time, Kalpavruksham is a monthly opportunity for the devotees to share about Ramayana. So, and on top of that, starting last month with the Guru Garu's blessings, whatever the topic that is being shared on this call, the kids are given opportunity to write essay. So parents, elders, if you forgot to invite the children to be part of this program, please, this is a gentle reminder to kindly have them to sit along with you so that they will take the wonderful opportunity to be part of the essay writing opportunity and get the blessings in the following month. So with Guru Garu's blessings in today's Kalpavruksham, I am taking the humble opportunity on behalf of the Seva group to introduce Sri Venkata Prithvinath Amritaluru, joining this Kalpavruksham event from Stamford, Connecticut, America. Sri Prithvi is a very strong, successful entrepreneur and a well-connected devotee with a lot of devotion in participating in various Bhadradri Sri Rama Temple of activities. He has been a role model for the young generation to prove the benefits of learning Ramayanam at his blessed age. So not only learning Ramayanam with curiosity, his dedicated interest during the sessions and the information being shared with others are very highly appreciated by Guru Garu in most of the time. So today, Sri Prithvi is gone to the next step of whatever that he has learned. He is trying to share that knowledge with everyone on this call with a blessed topic called How to Learn from Sri Valmiki Ramayana. So without any further delay, let us take the opportunity to listen to Sri Prithvi. So now it is all your opportunity. Please go ahead, Nana.
Jai Shri Ram Andariki. Thank you so much for the kind introduction, Rao Garu. Jai Shri Ram Guru Garu. Jai Shri Ram, everyone. Today I'm presenting for Kalpavruksham, learning how to learn from Sri Valmiki Ramayana. I'd like to dedicate this presentation to the most important people, which is Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Athidi Devo Bhava. I'm very grateful for my mother and father for helping me learn new things, and all my teachers, especially Guru Garu, and all the Vasudhaiva Kutumba members in the audience today. Thank you all. Guru Garu, I respectfully bow to you and Myasisul Guru Garu. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Guru is equivalent to Brahma and Vishnu and all the Devas. I'm so thankful for Guru Garu and Vishnu Chitta Guru Kulam. A lot of what we learn is what we learn from our gurus. This has been going on for ages across many time periods, whether we are in Treta Yugam, Dwapar Yugam, or Kali Yugam. It is very important to have Guru Shishya Parampara. Guru Shishya Parampara is the teacher-student lineage. So knowledge is passed down from the teachers to the students. Students can then pass on the knowledge to other students. So this is a very important way to share knowledge with everyone. I'm grateful for Guru Garu and Vishnu Chitta Gurukulam, which is helping spread that knowledge. We can, when we think about knowledge, the importance of Guru is also shown in the meaning of the word Upanishad. So we talk about learning from the Vedas, Upanishads, Itihasas, and so forth. But what does Upanishad actually mean? Upanishad means sitting down near. Sitting down near whom? Sitting down near Guru. All the Upanishads are saying you are sitting down near your Guru and learning the important life lessons. So that is the importance of the Guru Shishya Parampara and Upanishads. Even in Sri Valmiki Ramayanam, when Rama and Lakshmana go with Guru Vishwamitra, they learn everything from Vishwamitra and they believe Vishwamitra and trust him. So, of course, Rama and Lakshmana were princes and they were sleeping on Hamsatule Talpam. which is a bed as soft as the feathers of a swan. And once they had to go to the forest with sage Vishwamitra, they had to sleep on the ground, but they did so very happily. They were sleeping on darbal, and even when sleeping on darbal, they were sleeping so peacefully throughout the night, even in the forest, despite the fact that they come from a world of luxury before that. And the reason they were able to be so happy and content is they trusted the Guru and they were with the Guru, so they were confident. They had the dhairyam and courage, whether they are in the forest or anywhere, to learn the right things from the Guru. And that's how we should also approach learning from all our teachers. We should be very confident in the teacher's ability and take that opportunity to learn and grow. Now, Ramayana is one of the great itihasas, and it is also called Adi Kavyam, the initial poem. And this epic story, Ramakadha, is a story as old as time. So there's a very important power behind stories. Any story can help deliver some message and some meaning. So there's this American writer, Ursula Le Guin, who has said, there have been great societies that did not use the wheel, but there have been no societies that did not tell stories. So stories are even more important than the wheel in terms of societies growing into civilizations. So stories are as old as time, and the way stories work is Joseph Campbell, a researcher, studied thousands of stories across centuries. And what he noticed is there's a pattern, an archetype for storytelling, and that's the hero's journey. What is a story? A story is when a hero gets a call to some adventure, and along the way, he faces adversity, but despite that, he gets help from various mentors as well as allies, and he's able to overcome all those challenges, and in the process, learn some lessons as well as teach some lessons, and then finally emerge victorious. Now, this may sound familiar. It's because this is the archetype for the Ramayana as well as a lot of other stories that we may be familiar with. So some American stories that some of the students are probably familiar with is Star Wars and Harry Potter. So what is the story for Star Wars? So I'll read a brief synopsis. Star Wars, a synopsis for the New Hope. Luke Skywalker is an orphan living with his uncle and aunt on the remote wilderness of Tatooine. He is rescued by aliens by wise-bearded Ben Kenobi, who turns out to be a Jedi Knight. Ben reveals to Luke that Luke's father was also a Jedi Knight and the best pilot he had ever seen. Luke is also instructed in how to use the Jedi lightsaber as he too trains to become a Jedi. Luke has many adventures in the galaxy and makes new friends, such as Han Solo and Princess Leia. In the course of these adventures, he distinguished himself as a top X-Wing pilot in the Battle of the Death Star, making the direct hit that secures the rebels' victory against the forces of evil. Luke also sees the threat of Darth Vader, who we know murdered his uncle and aunt. In the finale, Luke and his new friends receive medals of valor. All of this will be set to an orchestral score composed by John Williams. So now that was the famous Star Wars story. And now we can read a quick summary of Harry Potter as well. It follows the exact same archetype. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Synopsis. Harry Potter is an orphan living with his uncle and aunt on the remote wilderness of Suburbia. He is rescued from muggles by wise-bearded Hagrid, who turns out to be a wizard. Hagrid reveals to Harry's father was also a wizard, and he was the best Quidditch player he had ever seen. Harry is also instructed on how to use a magic wand, as he too trains to become a wizard. Harry has many adventures in Hogwarts and makes new friends such as Ron and Hermione. In the course of these adventures, he distinguished himself as a top Quidditch seeker in the Quidditch match, making the catch that secures the rebels' victory against the forces of evil, Slytherin. Harry also sees the threat of Lord Voldemort, who we know murdered his parents. In the finale, Harry and his new friends win the House Cup. All of this will be set to an orchestral score composed by John Williams. So the reason I shared these two stories is to illustrate, whether we're talking about Harry Potter or Star Wars or any other story, there's a common pattern in terms of a hero emerging victorious and the lessons that we can learn along the way. So now let's shift to the most important story, the Ramakadha Ramayana. Although there are many stories throughout history, the Ramakadha is especially distinct. Even to this day, we do Nitya Nirantara Seva with Ramayana Parayanam. We don't do that for any story, right? Why specifically do we do Parayanam for Ramayana, the Adikavyam? It is because this is a story that has deep lessons about humanity and life. So our elders and gurus and the sages from the past, they packaged all the lessons in the Vedas and the Upanishads and put it into the Ramayana in order to provide an easy way to communicate to the common person the important principles of Sanatana Dharma. Whereas Upanishads can become very technical and require deep study, the stories are accessible to everyone, from kids to adults, and they carry the same important meaning. That is why it is so important to read the Ramayana. Reading the Ramayana is just as, if not more, auspicious than reading all the Vedas and the Upanishads, because all the content and the lessons from the Upanishads and the Vedas are already in the Ramayana. We just need to take the effort while we're reading to understand those key messages and extract those learnings and live our life accordingly. So for a lot of things that elders say, there's a lot of meaning behind it. It's our responsibility to try to learn and grow and understand all those true meanings behind everything. So now let's talk about how deep we can think about just the phrase Jai Hanuma. So there's a lot of different ways that we can think about this, just this small phrase Jai Hanuma, because when we think about Jai Hanuma, what are we saying? We're saying victorious to Lord Hanuma. Hanuma is very powerful. Does Hanuma need our wishes for him to be victorious? Hanuma will always be victorious. So then why are we saying Jai Hanuma? It's not just so Hanuma will be victorious against any of his battles, but Jai Hanuma is so Hanuma will be victorious within us. So we can get Hanuma within us to conquer just the worldly attachments. And when we say Jai Hanuma, victory to Hanuma, it's not just victory to Hanuma externally, but victory to Hanuma internally. So that is one important lesson on why we say Jai Hanuma. Also, what is the meaning of the word Hanuma? Hanu means jaw. Man means prominent or disfigured. So Hanuman means prominent jaw. And why does he have a prominent jaw? Well, we can see when Hanuman was a little kid, he thought the sun was a fruit and wanted to eat it. And then Indra, to stop that, he used the Vajrayudha to try to hurt Hanuman. And the Vajrayudha is very strong weapon. It hit Hanuman's jaw, but Hanuma was still okay thanks to all the other devas. But because of the Vajrayudha hitting Hanuma's jaw, it became a bit swollen or disfigured or prominent. So that is one of the prominent features of Hanuma, and that is the meaning of the word. However, that is only just the first layer. Whenever we want to learn something deeply, we need to think about all the layers beneath that and think a little deeper. So Jai Hanuma is a very auspicious name, right? But Hanuma, we said, means disfigured jaw or prominent jaw. So I'm sitting here chanting Jai Hanuma, Jai Hanuma, Jai Hanuma, guy with broken jaw, guy with broken jaw, guy with broken jaw. How is that auspicious? It is because there is deeper meaning beyond disfigured jaw, and we need to try to understand that deeper meaning and why this could be very auspicious. So the word Hanuma, we can break it up into the different syllables, and what we actually see is when we take the A in Ha, the U karam in Nu, and the Ma karam in Ma, what do we get? We get Om. Shakshat Omkaram is embedded in Hanuma. That is why just saying Jai Hanuma is so powerful and fills us with energy. It's because the Omkaram is embedded with Hanuma itself. So not just disfigured jaw, but we're saying the primordial sound of the universe, Om. So, and that this makes sense, and this shouldn't be surprising now that we think about it, because who is Hanuma? Hanuma represents Shiva. So this is one of the deeper meanings behind Jai Hanuma. So what did we do here? To think deeply and learn deeply, sometimes we have to use a microscope. We need to zoom in. So here we zoomed in and learned Hanuma actually uses the word Om. What else can this represent? We need to think about all the different explanations for how something could be and all the different reasons for why something is true. And that's how we learn deeply. So thinking about this further, we think about Hanuma, Hanu, jaw. What do we need to do to speak well? We need to use our jaw. So Hanuma isn't just saying prominent jaw, but saying very prominent speaking ability, because he's using his jaws to speak. How can we learn to speak well? To learn how to speak well, we can just learn by observing the words of Hanuma. For example, when Hanuma met Lord Sri Rama and Lakshmana for the first time, he inquired about what they were doing in the forest and why they were looking like princes while also being like rishis in the forest without too much adornment. And when Hanuma was speaking, he was clear, succinct, and to the point. After Hanuma spoke, Lord Rama praised Hanuma. He told Lakshmana, hey Lakshmana, you have to be careful with Hanuma. This is one of the few instances where Rama is telling Lakshmana to be careful around someone. Lakshmana obviously is also very powerful. So why is that? It's because when Hanuma spoke, Rama detected all the knowledge inside Hanuma. Because how do we understand how intelligent someone is, right? The intelligence is up here, but how is that expressed? That's expressed through our words and our actions. And Rama noticed just with Hanuma's words, he even said with a minister like Hanuma, you can conquer the world, you can do anything. So that's how well Hanuma spoke. So what can we learn from Ramayana, and how should we learn how to learn? We need to learn how to speak well, because when you can explain something to someone, that means you need to understand it first. So there's this famous physicist called Feynman, and even complicated physics topics, he'd say he'd need to explain to young children in a way even kids can understand, even complicated physics topics. So when you're able to distill complex things into the very simple ingredients, then you're able to communicate that to others, and that helps both you learn and it helps others learn. So earlier we talked about zooming in to understand something deeply using a microscope. Sometimes we need to use a microscope to zoom in and learn the details, but sometimes we need to use a telescope and zoom out and understand the broader picture. So here, the broader telescope is not just how Hanuma spoke here, but everywhere in the Ramayana, whenever Hanuma speaks, we sense that power of his words. So Hanuma is not just strong physically, but also strong mentally. And we see that through his words and actions. Now let's talk about how to write well. So throughout the course of this discussion, I'll talk about some basic things that we initially learned about when we were kids, like how to write, how to speak, how to learn. But these are so important fundamental concepts that as we get to higher grades, we learn new concepts, but we need to further understand these basic principles: how to speak, how to write, how to learn. And those are how you can become an excellent student, person, and grow as an individual. So how can we write well? So how can we write well? Whenever I'm reading Ramayana, or whenever you're reading Ramayana, observe how Valmiki writes. Valmiki is the greatest writer in history, and we have an opportunity to read his written work. So how you can learn to write is by reading quality material, and Ramayana is one of the highest quality material. So why is the Ramayana so deep, and why is it so important? Well, American author Hemingway talked about the iceberg theory. So when we think about an iceberg, we only see a piece at the top, but there's a lot deeper. It's much, much bigger underneath. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. So when, as a reader, we're reading something, we see the dialogue, we see what people are saying, we see the plot, we see who the characters are. But there's a lot of other things going underneath the surface in the story. Why are people doing what they're doing? What are some of the hidden messages? What are some of the lessons? Sometimes Sri Valmiki doesn't directly say, this is how you should behave. He doesn't say that. He says, this is how Rama behaved. What we need to do when we're reading or writing is being able to detect those messages and be able to go the layer deeper and understand the true motives, understand the symbolism, understand the true meaning. And that's how we can write and read and learn deeply. Now let's talk about how to learn well. So one of the key principles of learning well is called intermittent spaced repetition. That's just a fancy way of saying do things again and again and again. And you should space it out. And what happens is whenever you're learning new things, it always takes time. At the beginning, it seems difficult. And you might learn pieces of it, but over time, if you don't refer back to the material, you start forgetting. So that's what this forgetting curve is. But what should happen is once you read something, you should revisit it and learn again a couple days later, a couple hours later, a couple days later, a couple weeks later. And that way, the material keeps getting reinforced in your brain, and it keeps, you understand it that much deeper. So in terms of awareness and keeping that knowledge and not forgetting, if you have intermittent spaced repetition, then the forgetting curve becomes flatter, meaning you remember more. So whenever we're learning new things, it just takes effort and discipline to repeat it again and again and again. And that's how we learn deeply. Now, what's the importance of the Sunnarkanda? So, Sundare Sundaro Rama, Sundare Sundari Kada, Sundare Sundari Sita, Sundare Sundaram Vanam, Sundare Sundaram Kavyam, Sundare Sundara Kapi, Sundare Sundaram Mantram, Sundare Kim Na Sundaram. Just reading this makes me so happy. It's so beautifully well written. So Sunnarkanda is the chapter of beauty. Rama is beautiful, the story is beautiful, Sita is beautiful, the garden is beautiful, the entire kavyam, the poem is beautiful, and of course, Hanuma is beautiful. Why do we say Hanuma is beautiful? Do you usually call someone that a Vanara or someone that kind of resembles a monkey beautiful? It's because Hanuma is excellently pure character. The beauty of Hanuma is his actions and his words and what we can learn from that. And that is why Sundare Sundaro Kapi, Hanuma is beautiful. The mantras are beautiful. What is not beautiful in Sunnarkanda? Nothing. Everything is beautiful. Now, why is the Sunnarkanda very important out of all the kandas? So I just spaced out intermittent spaced repetition, so you remember that concept. So intermittent spaced repetition, we said we need to learn things again, again, and again. So Sunnarkanda is so important and one of the best kandas because we hear the Ramakadha so many times in Sunnarkanda. We hear the Ramakadha again, again, and again, more times than anywhere else in Sri Valmiki Ramayana. When Hanuma comes and talks to Lankini, he talks about Rama. When Hanuma meets Sita, he talks about the entire Ramakadha. When Hanuma meets Ravana, he mentions that he's Ramadutta and once again says the Ramakadha. So the reason the Sunnarkanda has a very special place within the Ramayana is because we listen to the entire Ramakadha so many times within just reading the Sunnarkanda. That is why they say, reading just the Sunnarkanda, you get as much divine blessings as if you were to read the entire Ramayana. And that is because the entire Ramayana is actually already in the Sunnarkanda. So in the Sunnarkanda, whenever Hanuma talks about the Ramakadha, he talks about what has already happened and how Rama came to be and how things are known. And then, of course, we are seeing what's happening now, the present, because Hanuma is right there. And then in terms of the future, we already know what's going to happen because in Sunnarkanda, Sitama says all these Rakshasas will be killed by Sri Rama. So she knows what will happen. She knows Rama will be victorious. So we have the past, the present, and the future. We have the entirety of the Ramayana in just the Sunnarkanda, and where the Ramayana is repeated again and again. This is why the Sunnarkanda is such a significant kanda. Now let's think about all the different warriors. So obviously in Yuddha Kanda, there's a lot of fighting. and different warriors have different skill levels. So there's a research paper written by a management professor at Jodhpur University, and he walks through the classification of warriors in Mahabharata, and I also looked at some other research to map the warriors in Ramayana into the classification as well. So the classification is at the baseline, you have Radi, and then you have Ati Radi. Ati Radi is 12 times Radi. Oh, sorry, Radi is 12 times 12 Adiratis. Ati Rati is 12 Ratis. Maharati is 12 Atiratis. Ati Maharati is 12 Maharatis. Mahamaharatis is 24 Ati Maharatis. So this is at each level, you're getting 12 times more powerful. So much more powerful. So when we think about the Ramayana, who are the strong Ati Maharatis? Rama and Hanuma on the good side. And then in the Rakshasas, Indrajit is also Ati Maharati. And then in Maharatis, you have Lakshmana, you have Sugriva, Angada, Jambavan, Kumbhakarna, Ravana. Those are the Maharatis. And then the Atiratis, you have all the other Rakshasas and some of the other characters that we see, Kumbha, Nikumba, and so forth. So what can we learn from this? The way I think about this is whenever you're at a particular level, you're not stuck at that level. You can always try to level up. It's just like a video game. You're always trying to beat the game and get to the next level, the more challenging level. So what can we do and what can we learn is we need to increase ourselves. Every one of us, we can 10x ourselves. We can 100x ourselves. We should try to be Maharati and Ati Maharati of our own self. So trying to become the best version of ourselves and becoming a better warrior, it doesn't mean we need to go and fight. It can be intellectual. It can be sports. It can be extracurricular. Whatever it is, we need to pursue that excellence and try to be the best that we can, and ultimately, potentially, one of the best in the world. And this is just one way that we can learn deeply and pursue excellence, always trying to upgrade ourselves to the latest version. So whenever we use technology, you see iPhone 5, iPhone 6, iPhone 7, iPhone 8. What about you? So when I think about me, Prithvi 1.0, Prithvi 2.0, Prithvi 3.0, same thing with all of you. You should upgrade yourself to the next version. I hope you take some time to think about what your next version will look like, your upgraded operating system. Now, we can also learn how to learn by observing Hanuma as an A+ student. So what did Hanuma get asked to do? He got asked to find Sita, deliver the message, and come back and inform Rama. So he did that. So baseline expectation, he achieved completely. What does he do next? All he was asked to do was go see Sita in Lanka. But Hanuma goes above and beyond. He was told to go see Lanka, but he came back seeing Lanka and burning Lanka. So that is how much Hanuma goes above and beyond. So even in Sunnarkanda, we learn that Hanuma says, you should, whatever your main purpose is, you should do very successfully. If there are other minor tasks, you shouldn't deviate from the main task just for the minor task. You need to make sure you meet that baseline expectation. However, if you are a very skilled person and if you want to be truly excellent, you shouldn't just do the baseline expectation. You should go above and beyond after you successfully meet the baseline expectation to try to do other things that could be very helpful to the journey. And that's exactly what Hanuma did. going above and beyond. So when I think about it, if Hanuman was in an exam hall, he'd always be raising his hand, additional, additional, additional. He'll just take those additional papers, fill in the extra credit, and get an A+. And that's one of the things that we could learn from Hanuman on how to learn and get better. And of course, ultimate reward, Rama is very happy with Hanuman for going above and beyond. And you get, whenever we do something and we try our best and leave the results up to God, and it works well, we have that same divine satisfaction, that bliss, as you see with Hanuman hugging Lord Sri Rama. Now, there's this one type of tree called bonsai tree. It's a very tiny tree. You can put it on your desk. It's literally like this big. And what happens is whenever it's growing, people grow it such that it doesn't grow much bigger. And then later, the tree get used to being that big. It doesn't get much bigger than that. So this actually looks like a real tree, but it's very small. So that tree is staying within its comfort zone. But in reality, how are trees and how should one be? You should go away from being a bonsai tree, which is small. You should be a Kalpavruksham. So this is the great Banyan tree in near Calcutta in India. And this is not a forest. This is one tree. Those are not tree trunks. Those are roots. This is all just one big tree, one huge Kalpavruksham. So when we think about ourselves, we shouldn't try to stay within a small bonsai tree, stay within our comfort zone. We need to think bigger. That's how we get to the growth zone. That's how we become Kalpavruksham. So whenever you see a new challenge or some new opportunity, you should think bigger, try to 10x or 100x yourself and pursue that opportunity. Now, Harvard Business School professor Clayton Christensen wrote an excellent book. He asked the question, how will you measure your life? And that's a pretty deep question. And if we're to think about like wealth, you can measure dollars in a bank account. If you think about grades, you can measure how many marks you got on an exam. But how do you measure your life? The sum total of all your experiences. It's a very deep question, and I encourage everyone to think about it. Based on my participation in the divine Nitya Nirantara Seva of Ramayana Parayanam, I've kind of thought about how I measure my life. And this is how I measure my life. I measure my life by Sanatan Dharma, the eternal truth, which is what we run from Ramayana, written by Sri Valmiki. So here, what it is this Harvard Business School book that was written a couple years ago was the question, this grand question of how will you measure your life? And then on the other side is the answer, written thousands and thousands of years ago by Sri Valmiki Ramayana. That's how we should measure our life. We should take the lessons from that and fulfill that Sanatan Dharma, that eternal truth. And that's how we live a happy, successful life. So who are the heroes and the heroines? There's many heroes and heroines throughout the story. Of course, Hanuma, Jambavan, Sitama, Lakshmana, Rama, so many characters, all very heroic in their own ways. So that's all fine. But who are the other real heroes and heroines? It's all of us in the audience. You are a hero. You are a heroine. All of us are heroes in our own hero's journey. And I hope everyone takes this moment to successfully proceed in their own hero's journey and transform and learn important lessons along the way. Of course, there's going to be challenges, but with some help, you'll get through that And with blessings of Sri Rama, you actually learn and grow from that experience and get to that next level. I'd like to also conclude with, we talked so much about learning, but this goes back to like true meaning of life. So in the US Constitution, the founding fathers of the USA talked about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I think there's one difference between the pursuit of happiness and the happiness of pursuit, which is what Ramayana tells us, which is pursuit of happiness means happiness is somewhere and you're trying to chase it. That's not happiness. If you're always trying to chase happiness, when are you going to reach happiness? It's happiness of pursuit. Whatever we are doing, we should do so happily. With that, Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, samasta loka sukhino bhavantu. May the entire world be happy and may all the worlds be happy. With that, I thank Guru Garu again for this divine opportunity, and I'm so grateful for being able to read and learn and share some lessons from Sri Valmiki Ramayana. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Sri Sita Rama Hanma Garuda Lakshmana Sameta ki Jai.
Yeah, Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.
A screen sharing తీసేయండి. Yeah, very. Jai Shri Ram, Prithvi, excellent presentation today. So really, reading Ramayanam and presenting in proper way, that's how Prithvi proved today. So he is attending Ramayanam, Nitya Nirantara Siva from 2000 every day. So just not only reading, understanding, but also presenting in proper way what we are learning and how to learn from Valmiki Ramayana. So the words Upanishad, Hanuman, the intermittent space of repetition. So it's something new, right? You see something hidden meanings. Upanishad, sitting down near, so close to Guru. Hanuman, Akara, Ukara, Makaram, Pranava Mantram, it is hidden thing in that Namam. So learn again, again and again. So what a beautiful message. So excellent, Prithvi. God bless you.
Thank you, Guru Garu.
Keep it up. So we need this type of very quality presentations again and again from you. So God bless you, Nana. Just a minute. Om Parya Apya Anandaragaya Tadvatto Bhavatirat Taduttama Mahadbhavati Sabbasyapte Sabbasajitte Sabbameva Pnoti Sabbam Jagati Bhadrachala Sita Ramachandra Swami Paripurna Gupakatakshatidhi Rastu.
Jai Shri Ram, Guru Garu.
Jai Shri Ram, Mama. Yeah. So please go ahead and please all of you students and Andru kuda so videos randi last. If you have any questions, Rao Guru, please go ahead and. So Rao Guru, so audio vinipista undledandi. It's not.
Yeah, audio vinipichatledu Raghav. So all students who are here on video, if you want to participate in the essay writing, please send your name, location and information in the chat here so that you'll get the relevant information by email. So kindly go ahead and put in your name. It need not be a long essay, Nana. Whatever you have learned from today's presentation, you write in your own words, like how Prithvi Anna said 1.0, 2.0, he talked about how we learned from Harry Potter. So what you can relate to, you'll write in that. So last month's essay, we got some really wonderful essays for, come back to us. It was very nice to read all of them. So everybody here who have children, please encourage them to come join. Prithvi, I can tell you today has been one of the most relatable ones for me, because even for me, sometimes I find presentations very hard to understand when they go very technical. Whereas I have read Harry Potter series, I have watched Star Wars, I totally could relate. It was very, very interesting. So definitely, I think all kids, even if you have not attended the call, encourage your kids to please watch the audio video recording and listen to it, because it is a lot over here. When Prithvi said memorize without repetition by just going through it multiple times, that is a wonderful and very easy way to learn things. So there were many points. Every slide Prithvi showed, I felt I learned so much today. So it was a excellent presentation. Rao garu వినిపించట్లేదండి ఇంకా. In the meantime, if anybody has anything they want to say, please raise your hand. Shireen garu.
జై శ్రీరామ్ గురు గారు. పృథ్వీ నాన్న, అంటే నువ్వు నీ ఏజ్ కి ఇవాళ లైక్ టోటలీ అగ్రీ విత్ జిగీష్ గారు, టోటల్లీ ఇన్వాల్వ్డ్ ఇన్ యువర్ ప్రెజెంటేషన్. అస్సలు చాలా, అంటే ఇట్స్ రియల్. నేను మా హస్బెండ్ కి అదే చెప్తున్నా, మెహర్కి ఇది వినిపించాలి ఆఫ్లైన్, కైండ్ ఆఫ్ డూయింగ్ సంథింగ్ నౌ. సో అంత బాగుంది నాన్న. అంటే ఓంకారం గురించి, హనుమాన్ లో ఇది ఒక మీనింగ్ ఉందని కూడా తెలియదు, అంటే నాకు తెలీదు. అండ్ యువర్ రామాయణంలో కూడా యూ పార్టిసిపేట్ ఇన్ రామాయణం ఎవ్రీ డే, అండ్ ద రీసెర్చ్ యూ డూ ఫర్ యువర్ సర్గా ప్రెజెంటేషన్ ఇస్, అంటే అది మనం చెప్పలేంది. అంటే యూఆర్, అంటే మీ పేరెంట్స్ యాక్చువల్లీ దే ఆర్ సో లక్కీ టు హ్యావ్ యూ. అంటే ఐఎమ్ రియల్లీ, అంటే చాలా మంచిగా అనిపించింది నాన్న. అండ్ ద వే యూ ప్రెజెంట్, నీ సర్గా అయినా ఇవాళ ప్రెజెంటేషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేసేటప్పుడు కూడా నీ మదర్ ఫాదర్ ని తలుచుకోవడం, గురువుని తలుచుకోవడం, ఇట్ ఈస్ లైక్ ఆల్ పిల్లలకి దే విల్ నో అబౌట్ ఇట్. మేబీ దే విల్ నాట్ థింక్ అబౌట్ ఇట్ నౌ, బట్ వెన్ దే గ్రో బిగ్గర్ అండ్ బిగ్గర్, అండ్ అప్పుడు ఓహో ఒక అన్న అప్పుడు అలా చేశాడు అని దే కుడ్ రిలేట్. అంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ లైక్ అన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ యు ఆర్ షోయింగ్ ఇన్ ఏ స్మూదర్ వే. అండ్ ఆల్సో హౌ యూ రిలేటెడ్ హ్యారీ పాటర్ బుక్ అదంతా అసలు పిల్లలకి కనెక్టివిటీ, యూ హ్యావ్ ఎ గుడ్, అంటే నీకు మంచిగా క్యాప్చరింగ్, ఆడియన్స్ క్యాప్చరింగ్ థింగ్ అయితే నీకు దగ్గర ఉంది నాన్న. అండ్ యాజ్ గురువు గారు సెడ్, ఐ వుడ్ లైక్ టు హియర్ మోర్ ప్రెజెంటేషన్స్ ఫ్రమ్ యూ. అండ్ శ్రీరామనవమికి కూడా నువ్వు ఇలాంటిది ఏదైనా పిల్లలు యాక్టివిటీస్ లో ఏదైనా ప్రెజెంట్ చేయగలిగితే, ఇట్ విల్ బి ఎ గ్రేట్ ఆపర్చునిటీ ఫర్ ఆల్ కిడ్స్ టు లిసన్ ఫ్రమ్ యూ. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ పృథ్వీ.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shandi. I think it's with the blessings of Rama and Hanuma that I'm able to present today. And yeah, of course, I learned so much from my parents and my gurus. And I think every one of us have a responsibility to share what we learn with others. Because learning is something where money, if you give to someone, you don't have that money, someone else has that money. Knowledge, if you give to someone, you increase your own knowledge because you explained it to someone, and they also get that knowledge. So knowledge grows over time. So I'm very passionate about learning new things and sharing that information, and I think everyone should do that. Thank you.
Totally Nana.
Valli garu.
Jai Sri Ram andi, Jai Sri Ram Guru garu, Jai Sri Ram andi andarki. Prithvi, this is excellent by any measure. Definitely Jigisha garu and Shireen garu, everybody said that already. Manaki Guru garu cheptaru, it's you have to have that be born with some blessing to be able to touch Valmiki Ramayanam and read it. So we all started reading it, right? And then you need to go to the next level of comprehending it. So we tried to comprehend and understand some of it. And then it takes a lot to, learn. And generally you learn and you keep it to yourself. You think that, okay, I understood that. But then to be able to explain to the next generation kids, right, the way everybody can understand is awesome. Prithvi, you did that in an amazing way. And you have not taught just to the next generation kids, you have taught to the previous and the previous generation adults as well today. So, I can confidently say that I learned a lot. And, like I always think of aim 10x, and you mentioned that 10x and 100x. So that's really awesome. It's amazing, Prithvi. And thank you for sharing your knowledge with everybody else and motivating one and all with irrespective of their age and gender. So that's awesome. Keep it up, and please do share a lot more with us and enlighten us with your knowledge, Prithvi. Thank you. Jai Shri Ram.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I actually personally, I wanted to read the Ramayana since high school. And then high school is busy, so I couldn't do that. And then college, I wanted to read Ramayana. College is busy, so I had to wait. And then work is busy. MBA is busy. So always there's something busy going on. And then thanks to the Nitya Nirantara Ramayana Paranam, I realized, this is the opportunity. And by Guru Garu's blessing, he told me about this opportunity. And then I joined. And I think we talk about the lessons for Ramayana across the generations. And one thing that I am really inspired by is when we look at most people, they think, Ramayana, that's something, once you're like 60 years old, you retire and then you read the Ramayana. But then I think it should be reverse. Like, you should read the Ramayana when you're 10 years old, 20 years old, 25 years old, 30 years old, all the way from very young. So then you could use it your whole life. Why read it at 60 and be like, this is what I should have done 20 years ago? You can read it when you're 20 and use that knowledge for the next 50, 100 years.
Absolutely. I think that's why previously grandparents used to teach to kids, but then, it stopped due to nuclear families. So I think teaching in this, relating to what they already know is awesome. And I think, people like you should lead this type of efforts to educate that, learning Ramayana is for 5-year-old to 10-year-old each stage, not for, like at the end of the life kind of scenario. Thank you, Prithvi.
Adinarayan garu, మీరు హ్యాండ్ రైజ్ చేశారండి.
Jai Sri Ram andi. First of all, I want to congratulate Prithvi for an excellent presentation. I don't want to praise you too much because that's not good for anybody to get too much praise, but you did an excellent job. So congratulations on that. And we should all thank COVID one way, because that's what brought everybody together into doing the Nitya Nirantar Seva and learning Ramayanam and going through multiple times. So that covers the intermittent spaced repetition also. So that is a good thing. So we should keep continuing. The point I want to make is, like, when you plant a seed, you will not see the fruit immediately. So this is the second repetition we are going in Ramayana, and we are having multiple Kalpavrukshams, and we are seeing the fruits now. So the younger generation coming up and narrating their observation and relating to their real life stories is what we need more and more from people like you or your brother or any youngster who is sitting in this conference. So that's what I want to stress on that. So yeah, we are seeing the fruits now, so we should keep doing it more and more. And like Valli garu and Jigisha garu already said, you should inspire other people to do the same thing and bringing out their real life experiences. So a few topics I would like to see from any of the youngsters who are moved from education to work is like how to be a good worker and how to be a good boss and how not to be a bad boss, that kind of things like that. Jai Sri Ram. Excellent presentation. Blessings to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I totally agree with that example with the fruits. The Ramanamam, Ramakadha, Inaga Ikaruchi untade. So the more and more you read the Ramayana, the tastier that story is and the lessons, because every time you read it, you learn something new and you go that layer deeper. So I agree with that. A lot more insights the second reading relative to the first, and hopefully more and more readings to come with the grace of Lord Rama.
Chala santosham amma Prithvi. Really, you have made the connection today to the topic. Highly appreciated. So with that, we also have another important topic to share today. From last month, the essay competition, I mean, in other words, I would say that it is a Guru Garu giving us the opportunity. There were 12 participants who took the opportunity to be part of it, and few participants gone to the next level of taking the efforts of submitting it. And it has gone through a rigorous procedure of evaluating by the host, also by respected Guru Garu. So with that, we are happy to announce the results today of last month essay competition. So with that, Jigisha Garu, would you please bring up the results, Andy? Can you please share it?
Yeah, sharing it. Okay.
Yeah, while Jigisha Garu is bringing that, we have seen 2 participants who have enrolled for this month. So kindly please, others, those who have been eligible, they can just provide the results. So for the last month, the topic, the 2 participants who came to the finalization is Chiranjeevi Nimish Nukala, who has taken the wonderful opportunity to write it and to come on the top of the list, and Chiranjeevi Srivalli Konduru, who had taken the opportunity to come all the way up to the second on the list, while Chiranjeevi Akshara Konduri took the opportunity to take the participation. So we really appreciate these students taking the level of understanding the subject that was delivered and writing the essay and presenting it. Irrespective of results, attempt is a very important. So that is a wonderful job which we have done. So let us all take the opportunity with the Guru Garu's blessings to give them a good appreciation here. And with that, let us request Guru Garu to bless these kids who have been came to this level. Guru Garu, may blessings kavalandi.
Yeah, తప్పకుండా అండి, చాలా సంతోషము. సో పిల్లలు చాలా చక్కగా, సో వెరీ వెల్ participated and they presented their wishes, and so this is the result. So good luck to you, Nana. So Nimish and Srivalli, so excellent job. So God bless you. Om Prano Devi Taratpate Bade Vidvadani Bate Dinam Vidyavat Vagdevi Namaha Satvidya Sadbuddhi Praptratu Bhadra Taratriti Taramaditta Paripurna Kapakatachati Tirastu. So with this, excellent, Nana. So with this, so I suggest all the parents, please involve your students to write essays and get blessings. Very, very excellent program. So they're learning something and so writing an essay, so which is particularly Ramayanam. No, please go ahead. Don't miss this opportunity. So Jai Shri Ram.
With that, now we take the opportunity of more informing and reminding the participants, saying that March, this month essay's topic is today what we have learned. Learning how to learn from Sri Valmiki Ramayana. The deadline will be March 31st, the last day of the month at 9 p.m. local time. Wherever the devotees are staying, they can just need to make sure that they email according to the instructions, because those who have enrolled today, they will get the information. It is not open for all. They should come, attend this session and be on video on. So it is not that they can be video off. So they should be on video on, and they should also submit their interest to be part of that. So we have seen a couple of entries today, and make sure that you are submitting it by 9 p.m. local time wherever you are. Even if your essay comes at 9:01 p.m., it will be considered as a participant. So kindly make sure, don't wait until the last time. Please make sure that you are submitting it well in advance. And after that, during the next Kalpavruksham March month results will be blessed in the presence of Guru Garu. So this is a wonderful opportunity. So kindly promote this. If somebody has missed this for today's event, they can definitely take the opportunity again in the next month. And the next month is the most auspicious month of being Sri Rama Navami, which is coming in the month of April. So kindly stay tuned for the blessed topic and details to come in the month of April again. With that, we can go ahead and do a closing prayer. Andi Guru Garu, Jai Shri Ram.
Rao Garu, there is one raised hand, Andi. Vijay
Sure.
Garu had something to say. Andi.
Yeah. Jai Shri Ram Guru Garu.
Jai Shri Ram Andi.
Yeah. It's a very inspirational topic. I just want to say a few words about Prithvi. This is, the points which I want to convey, everybody conveyed. So I just want to touch on the two of these additional points. So Prithvi, you've done a fantastic job, Nana. May Swami bless you, and wish you have the more energy to continue these things. The two important aspects is, whenever we learn anything from any scriptures or anything, the applicability of that is very, very important. So what is the takeaway, right? So when we go to any session, no matter whether it is spiritual or business or professional or educational, it doesn't matter. What it matters is what is the takeaway of it and how you can apply it. The key thing here is the transformation, right? And the way you connected Ramayana in the real world and how you brought the kids into the engaging that is phenomenally done well, right? And as you have said, Guru Shishya Parampara to begin with, and that has to continue. Valmiki has done such a phenomenal job of bringing Ramayana to this world. And how are we going to take that to the next level and next generations? We need people like Guru Garu and you and people like you to continue to take this and continue and take it forward. And to be honest with you, I was just saying, okay, it is for the kids' purpose, and we did engage our kids, by the way. And I thought, okay, let's engage the kids and let me get away from that. But I, glued to my sofa and then looking at this until the end. And I was telling to Vijaya that, is it already done? So it was phenomenally, it was very engaging and very nicely stitched together. Very good job, Nana. May Swami bless you. Thank you. Thank you, Guru Garu and Rao Garu, for this opportunity.
Jai Shri
Jai
Ram.
Ram.
Thank you so much. I agree. I think Ramayana, for everything, I like to say, for everything, there's an owner's manual, right? You get a computer, there's an owner's manual. You buy some furniture, there's an owner's manual. You come into the world, you're a baby, and then you grow. But how do you learn to live the right way? I think the Ramayana is the owner's manual for life. So I think it has a lot of, it's not just theory, it has a lot of practical wisdom on how to actually implement it and live the right path of Dharma. So thank you. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Rama. So let us conclude today's Kalpavruksham program. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalanyantam Nyayena Margena Mahimahishah Gobrahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Lokas Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Janah Sukhino Bhavantu Tapattatam Mangalani Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Manchadani andarki Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram Guru Garu.
Jai Shri Ram Guru Garu.
Jai Shri
Jai Shri Ram Guru Garu.
Jai Shri Ram Guru Garu.
గారు.
జై శ్రీ
జై శ్రీరామ్ గురువు గారు.
నేను ఐ విల్ టాక్ టు గురువు గారు అండ్ రావు గారు అండ్ గెట్ బ్యాక్ అండి.
ఓకే అండి, ఓకే అండి. అంటే పెద్ద అమౌంట్ కాకపోవచ్చు కానీ బట్ టోకెన్ ఆఫ్ అప్రిషియేషన్ కింద చిన్న అమౌంట్ అండి.
మాట్లాడి చెప్తాను.